This is the iPhone 12 Pro and it's one of the most beautiful phones I've used till now. Apple has gone back to the industrial design schematic, and this stainless steel frame along with the matte finish glass and these flat edges are all adding up to give a design that's very different from the regular stuff we have in 2020. This is like going back to the old iPhone 4 design format, and I love it. There is precision throughout and this phone is built like a tank. And the only complaint I can point out is that this shiny frame is a fingerprint magnet. It's impossible to keep it clean from smudges, but again this contrast of the shiny frame and the matte back glass is an attraction seeking thing. And in the front the ceramic shield glass is used, so based on Apple's claim, this should offer 4 times better drop protection, and right now the design is holding well with no scratches throughout, and also the buttons, they all do work flawlessly. And overall, the iPhone 12 Pro is surely a pro when it comes to the whole design stuff. But then while using it, the experience we get based on the display's quality and the performance is actually not very pro. I mean, it's because this time the regular 12 and this Pro does offer the same with these stuff. The regular 12 does get an OLED display, and the specs are almost identical with just the upper hand happening with the peak brightness while watching standard stuff, and that thing is barely noticeable. The display size of the 12 Pro is similar to the 12, measuring 6.1 inches, and the resolution of both these displays are identical. And therefore the experience, like I said, is very similar. It's one of the best quality panels with excellent viewing angles and sharpness, and yet this display on the 12 Pro, even though it has 800 nits of max brightness for regular contents, well, it wasn't much different from the 12's display with 625 nits of max brightness with regular stuff. And here with the 12 Pro, things are very easy to read in bright outdoor conditions, so it's like the best experience, but then it's not like a pro experience. And also, if you're going to watch HDR stuff, the max brightness this Pro's display can reach is 1200 nits, which is similar to the 12's display. And also, the 12 Pro's display has support for True Tone and Haptic Touch, which is a replacement for 3D Touch, and it works fine, but 3D Touch was better. And about the bezels, they're very slim, but then you still have the notch, which is again not adding up to the Pro naming of the phone. The notch houses the Face ID sensor, and Face ID works similarly like the last gen Face ID, which means it's a good unlocking method and it's very convenient, but with the mask situation, it's not going to work in a flawless manner, so that's something to keep note of. So after checking the display and the unlocking method, there isn't any difference with the 12 Pro and the regular 12, which is not matching well with the naming. I mean, Apple could have at least used a 120Hz display panel in the 12 Pro, which would have been a distinguishing factor with the Pro series and the regular ones, but they didn't do it. This display has the same 60Hz refresh rate, which to be frank is not a problem with iPhones because they're basically very fast with scrolling and stuff, but here if they have included a higher refresh rate panel, that would have been like offering better stuff in the higher end phones. But unfortunately that hasn't happened with the display, and that's the same when you check the performance side too. It's because the 12 Pro is powered by Apple's A14 Bionic chip, which is the same used in the iPhone 12, but here the 12 Pro has an advantage with the RAM because it's 6GB unlike 4GB in the iPhone 12, and also the base storage of the 12 Pro is 128GB, which is double what you get with the iPhone 12. So these two things are good, and here the storage part is especially something to keep note of, but with the RAM stuff at present there wasn't much of a difference, but then it's like more future proofing. And here the amount of apps kept in memory was just like a couple more than the iPhone 12, but then it's not a big thing with the 12 series iPhones because basically they are very fast. Speed is not a concern here. Opening apps, scrolling through a menu, browsing through a feed, playing graphic intense games, taking photos, etc. is all very smooth and totally lag free, and also the phone doesn't get very warm with every task, which is a plus. So in the performance department, the iPhone 12 Pro is surely the best, but then this is almost the same experience you get even with the iPhone 12. The extra storage and the extra RAM is a plus point, but with the iPhone 12 you can get a 120GB variant if you want, and also the RAM at present is not something that's standing out, which means from the performance department there isn't any pro thing you're getting with the iPhone 12 Pro. So that's like till now, other than the change of the materials used, there isn't any standout thing. So let's move to another important thing to find out whether you're going to experience anything spectacular, at least in that, and that's the camera department. And here on the rear, as you can see, there are 3 cameras, which is one extra than what you get with the iPhone 12. And also this little guy is the LiDAR sensor, which is again not present in the iPhone 12. And here taking a look at the specification of the cameras, well, the main sensor is a 12 megapixel f1.6 aperture one, which is the exact same sensor used in the iPhone 12. And same is the case with the ultra wide angle camera, which is again a 12 megapixel one with f2.4 aperture. But then the last camera, which is the missing one in the iPhone 12, is a telephoto camera, which is by the way a 12 megapixel camera, and its aperture is f2.0. Now this is the extra camera that you get with the 12 Pro, and that's a handy sensor because you get that 2x optical zoom, and also since there is the LiDAR scanner, and the portraits are slightly better in the 12 Pro. And the extra feature that the LiDAR scanner offers right now is better augmented reality experience. But then the other 2 cameras, since being the exact same like the 12, they do perform in the same manner. The main camera does take excellent photos in any lighting scenario, and here the shot from the main sensor is crisp and sharp with great dynamic range. There is a bit of sharpening happening, but the photos do look very natural, and Apple's Smart HDR3 is also doing a great job. And with the ultra wide angle sensor, it's a good one, but it does have its limitations. Edges have the ultra wide angle camera issues, and also even though there is night mode support, the shots in dark are not that exciting. But what's exciting and also the best is the videos captured with the iPhone 12 Pro. You can record very stable and smooth quality videos with the main sensor, and here if the HDR thing is off, the 4K 60fps videos look exactly same like the ones from the iPhone 12. But if you want to capture videos with the new format, which is 10-bit HDR videos in Dolby Vision, well then with the iPhone 12 Pro, that can be done even in 4K 60fps setting. That's an added bonus, but to be frank, if you can't properly edit the HDR videos, it's better to leave that setting off. And also, even if you do edit and process it properly, the compatibility issue is still there because all displays doesn't support it well. So in the end, these are just the added extra stuff you get in the camera department with the 12 Pro. And I do mean it because even the front camera in the 12 Pro is the same one used in the iPhone 12. It's a 12 megapixel f2.2 aperture camera with support for night mode and deep fusion, and it also gets a smart HDR3, which in turn outputs pretty solid selfies. In good to moderately dull lighting, the selfies have great quality, and that's the same even with the 4K videos captured. And overall, the camera system in the 12 Pro is one of the best, but the extra things you're getting is basically just the zooming capability with the telephoto camera and the very slightly improved portraits both with indoor and outdoor shots because of the LiDAR scanner. The 10-bit HDR Dolby Vision video support for 60fps is a plus, but then I won't consider it a major advantage for the 12 Pro, and it's the main thing that can be considered as an extra is the telephoto camera. And if you are a person who needs that sensor, well then the 12 Pro will make sense, but else you won't be noticing any major upper hand. And when you check the battery side, well then the 12 has a slight upper hand than the 12 Pro. The battery capacity of the 12 Pro is the exact same like the 12, but the screen on time I was getting with the 12 Pro was a bit less with an approx value of 6.5 hours, which is good for a day's use if you are a moderately heavy user. But this time if you come best up with the 11 Pro, the 11 Pro surely had better battery backup than the 12 Pro, but then the 12 Pro has support for the new MagSafe charging method, which is like wireless charging at 15 watts because of the magnetic attachment. And by the way, if you buy the fast charging adapter, you can even make use of fast charging. So the charging side, the 12 Pro is well covered, but these stuff are all present in the 12, so there isn't any extra thing happening in the battery backup and the charging side. And this similarity even extends to the very hyped 5G thing. In India at present there isn't any 5G support, and also the Indian variant of the 12 Pro like the 12 doesn't have the millimeter wave 5G antenna, so basically what you're getting is the sub 6 5G, which is faster than regular LTE, and even the LTE speeds when compared to the iPhone 11 series was better in the 12 Pro. But like I was saying, these are not a unique stuff with the 12 Pro, and even about the speaker quality, they did sound identical to the 12 series speaker, which means it's good, and the earpiece for calls also perform great. And lastly, the IP rating for the 12 Pro is IP68 with 6 meter depth support up to 30 minutes, and the Bluetooth version is 5, and also the Wi-Fi version is 6. Then you even get all the sensors and NFC, and also the ultra-wideband chip is present. So these are all good, but then throughout the video, as I was saying, all these stuff is available in the iPhone 12, and the extra stuff that the 12 Pro has is a premium build, which adds a bit more weight. Then there's the extra RAM and the storage advantage, and also there is an extra camera and the LiDAR sensor. Then by the way, with the camera, in future the 12 Pro will be getting RAW format photo capturing capability too. But then for just these stuff in India, the extra you'll have to pay for the 12 Pro is approximately 35,000 for the same storage option compared with the 12. This is the present price chart for the 12 Pro, and for this pricing, I'll surely not recommend to get the 12 Pro because the iPhone 12 is very much on par with this 12 Pro, and that makes the 12 a better option than the 12 Pro. But then in the end, it all tailors down to your needs. If you still want these extras and they do matter a lot for you, and you're also willing to pay the premium, well then surely you'll be eyeing for the 12 Pro, and if you do so, what you're getting is an excellent premium quality phone. That's all for this video guys, hope you enjoyed it. If so, a like is much appreciated, and a sub will be great. See you again in the next one. Till then, bye.